Chris again, and I am back with my Geriatric Care 1, my YouTube channel, and I have been doing, if you've been watching it, a whole series on geriatric care management. And now we're getting to the real heart of it all, and it's a dark heart, and it's the dysfunctional family. And you out there might know what it is. So it's the most difficult thing you do as a geriatric care manager. And, you know, certainly if you grow up, it's the hardest kind of family to come from. And why is it so awful? Well, we're going to talk about that. It's going to take me a couple of series here. What do they fight over? Let's start that. Well, they fight over everything, but what are the main things? The dysfunctional family fights over inheritance. A lot of families fight over inheritance, but these people really go at it. Working with them is dealing with inheritance problems. It's also dealing with financial abuse. Because if mom didn't love you enough, maybe you can get even that way. Or if, you know, there's a number of reasons why financial abuse goes on. Actually, 1/3 or more of financial abuse is done by who? Your family. And it's usually a dysfunctional family. And when you work with them as a geriatric care manager, you also work with who mom loved best, because that's really, you know, you grow up in a nest, and if the nest is rickety and you almost fell out, and you know, you didn't, you know, you just started flying, but your wings didn't work really well because nobody was really teaching you how to fly. You might have some issues when you grow up. And so who mom loves best is the big issue. What is the dysfunctional family anyway? I'm telling you, you know, what you're going to find as a geriatric care manager. Well, they are groups of people. It's actually a family system. I'll talk about that. That has had generations of the same thing. And that is, they're infected with something. And they are infected with usually the same dysfunction. And it might be a proclivity for alcohol. It might be a proclivity for drugs. It might be abuse. Abuse coming down generation after generation. It might be incest. It might be all sorts of bad things. But whatever has happened has been really passed on from generation to generation. So the elephant has been in the living room for 100 years, and that gets passed on. Now, can we say that's nature or nurture? I'm not going to say that. I don't really know. But the behavior is patterned over and over again. And that's why you find in child molestation that many times that perpetrator has been molested themselves. And so the dysfunctional family has this disease that goes down, historically, down the line. And that's one of the main things about it. The second thing is there's a lot of ambivalence in the dysfunctional family. Because even though we grew up, you know, our mother made our nest kind of rickety, it's our mom. And no matter what, I started out working with children, and I worked with foster children. And no matter what had happened to that parent, that child was taken away, they still wanted to go back because it's your mom. So you have ambivalence. You have ambivalence in a dysfunctional family. You love your mother, you hate your mother. You love your mother, you hate your mother. You love her, you hate her. That's very confusing. But the bond with a parent is so deep. That's why adopted children will go through anything to really find out who's my mother. You know, she obviously built a rickety nest because you're somewhere else, but they want to connect. So in a dysfunctional family, ambivalence is rife. And the third thing you're going to see is, well, I just said it, a lack of nurturing. That nest is like, they brought stones in instead of, pieces of trees. It's, instead of, little downy feathers, it's got rocks. So, lack of nurturing doesn't happen. So I will see you next time, and next time we're going to talk about what happens when this dysfunctional family faces a parent, remember the rickety nest parent, who becomes disabled, and that's aging. So tune in to the channel. I've got a zillion things here, from soup to nuts about geriatric care management, Geriatric Care 1, watch the whole thing if you can, and my website, kathykress.com, and I'll see you next time.